All right, great. So we're now recording. Welcome everybody to another episode of Hack Your Hustle. Now, actually I have to take this timer off of here, but every single week we're bringing you live episodes on Tuesday and Thursdays. Usually we're coming to you on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock and Thursdays at 8 p.m. That's going to be our new scheduled time for Thursdays. And so today we wanted to take advantage of it being Thanksgiving week and the fact that so many people are throwing around, what are you thankful for? We're hearing that all over. Give Thanksgiving. And so that's amazing for so many of us that can, really count our blessings and say what we're thankful for. But we also shouldn't take for granted the people that are maybe struggling with coming up with things that they're thankful for, because that also can be a struggle for many of us when everything is not actually going right all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's so
that
true.
Happens in life.
Yeah, you're right. There are a lot of people who are going through something, really serious. It could be a relationship issue. It could be financial issues, all kinds of things that happen in life. And, it's a little difficult sometimes when you're going through a real valley in your life to think about what you have to be thankful for. So, yeah, exactly. You bring up a really good point, Dejan. Yeah.
So, we want to just really make this a time that we can actually go through exercises. And for people that are watching the replay or watching this on YouTube, take advantage of these. And we're just going to go through them really quick. As always, at the end, we'll kind of open up the hot seat if we have time for that. But let's dive right in and let's start going over some exercises. So, Mom, I'm going to just toss it over to you. And go ahead and let's dive in and start.
Okay, sure. Well, you know what? I want to start off by kind of introducing us and saying who we are. That's okay. That's all right. We are Team Transformation. We are a mother and daughter team. My name is Sonia Coppage. I am the mother. This is one of my daughters here. This is Dejan. And our other daughter is the one that seems to be having some issues getting on, but that's okay. So we are Team Transformation. And we like to bring you positive things to your life. And as Dejan said, we come on to do a blab session every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock and every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. So look for us. If this is your first time being on with us, definitely join us in some of our other sessions and do a replay on some of our previous sessions. But we like to bring you ideas and tips. And our show, of course, as you see today, is called Hack Your Hustle. And that's exactly what we like to do. We like to bring you inspiration and things to think about, especially when it comes to the world of hacking your hustle. But tonight, in light of Thanksgiving, we want to talk about gratitude, and we want to talk about the things that we have to be thankful for. And we want to go over and discuss and have everyone join us in some gratitude exercises. And we're calling them gratitude exercises because that's really what they are. These are exercises that we're going to talk about, things to make us kind of trigger our mind, kind of like a tickler, to think about, again, what things we have to be grateful for. So these are, when we first saw these, and when I first saw them, as I was reading through this list, because I could go through my mind and think about things that I really felt grateful for and grateful, about. But as I was reading through this list, I thought, oh my gosh, this would make a really, really good thing to bring to people during the week of Thanksgiving, because it really kind of made my mind expand to think about things that maybe I wouldn't have thought about otherwise, So, Dejan, if you want to start off, I'm hearing an echo. I don't know whether you are. Oh, you tossed it to me to start off? Okay.
I tossed it to you to start off. I already said all of that. So, Hey, everybody is here so that you can get and reflect on some of these things that, we're often presented with at Thanksgiving. All right. And I'll give it to you so that you can start off. We're usually working within the realm of entrepreneurs and success tips and helping people expand their businesses. So in that light, take this as a tool or an exercise that you can also maybe pass down to your team, use with your family this week, and just, maybe even pass this down and reteach this on other forms of social media. So
exactly. These are awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. I thought this one was really good, and I'm gonna read this. This is it's really just 4 questions. This is a great way to bring things that you're thankful for to the forefront of your mind by asking yourself these 4 questions. At the end of each day, ask yourself the following questions, okay? Question number 1, what touched me today? Question number 2, who or what inspired me today? Question number 3, what made me smile today? And question number 4, what's the best thing that happened today?
Those are good. Those are really good. Can you just highlight those one more time just to make sure that people get them in case they're writing them down?
Sure, definitely. The first question is, what touched me today? The second is, who or what inspired me today? The third is, what made me smile today? And the fourth question is, what's the best thing that happened to me today?
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are good questions. Yeah. That kind of like puts it in perspective, especially if you're at the end of the day and you think about that, you know, it could have been something small that happened early in the morning, like you had a conversation with somebody while you're getting coffee, or somebody complimented you. You know, like some of those small things that you're going to forget by the time you get home, or, you know, lay down and go to bed and finish all of your work. So it's kind of nice to think about that and be like, hey, I did have a good day. It wasn't as bad as I thought, or, you know.
Right. No, I totally agree. I mean, you know, some of these questions, like, you know, what made me smile today? How often do you really think about that? What made me smile today? And if you really give it some thought, I'm sure that you smiled hundreds of times during the course of the day, but we don't always stop to think about what are we smiling about. It's just a natural reaction, but do you really think about why? So yeah, exactly. I thought that was a good one. Definitely.
Okay. Well, I'll move on to this one, which is put things in perspective. I think this is really good. And so, you know, it just really says that obviously things are not going to always go our way. It's not, you know, it's life. And gratitude isn't an emotion that's reserved for the moments when we get our way. You know, we can't only say thank you when everything falls in line the way that we want it. So when things go wrong, we can use the power of gratitude to release some of the negative emotions that we may be feeling due to a certain circumstance or situation or event that happens in our life. Now, here's a couple of questions that we can ask ourselves after a negative event. And this just helps us, again, put it in perspective. That's what the name of this exercise is. Put things in perspective. So when faced with adversity, we have to ask ourselves a couple of these questions. What's good about this? What can I learn from this? How can I benefit from this? And is there something about this situation that I can be grateful for?
That's pretty challenging. It really is. Yeah. That's really challenging as you're going through it, right? To be able to ask yourself those questions, because you know what? If I think back on some of the things that have happened in my life that probably weren't such good things necessarily as I was going through them, but if I had taken time to really think about some of the good in that, it would have been tough. It really would have. It really would have been hard to find something good in it. Now that I've gone through it, looking back on it, I'm sure that I could have if I'd really thought about that. I will keep that one in mind.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of relates, interesting, to a sermon that I heard Sunday. And it was just saying something that we hear a lot, you know, be thankful in everything, or, you know, always be thankful in something. And so what the pastor was saying was that, you know, even when bad things happen, we don't have to be thankful for something happening. You know, if your house catches on fire, or you lose your job, or, you know, you're experiencing illness or something, of course you're not going to be thankful for that thing, but you are going to have a spirit of thankfulness while you're in it. So thankfulness in the situation, not for the situation. And so I think that's kind of similar to this exercise, putting it in perspective. So I'll just recap these one more time, and then we'll go on to the next one. So,
okay.
What's good about this is what you want to ask yourself. What is good about this? What can I learn from this? How can I benefit? How can I benefit from this? And is there something about this situation that I can be grateful for?
Okay. I think that's
So,
good. I think that's really good. I like it. That's really good. Okay. I have one that I really, really like. And I challenge anybody out here who hears this one to do this. I think this is really cool. This is called, well, the title of it is 365 Thank You Notes. Okay.
okay.
So let me see. And I'm reading this. I'm going to cut this short a little bit. But it's basically deciding to write 365 thank you notes to anybody. Just thank you notes in general.
Wow.
So it's every single day of the year. Take the time to write a thank you note every day. Can you imagine doing that?
No, but it's
Right.
a great exercise. Wow.
It is. It is. So I couldn't help but say, of course, I challenge everybody, including myself.
I know, right?
that.
Now that you said it.
Right. So can you, just 365 notes, one a day.
I can't.
So,
I totally can't.
Yeah, yeah. So you think
Hey,
about
Sherry, we see that you jumped in the room.
Hi,
Nice
Sherry.
to see you.
Yeah. Sherry, we're talking about gratitude, and we've got these gratitude exercises that are really different, things that you can do to really make your mind kind of think about the things that you're thankful for. So I just noted one, which is 300, which is basically writing 365 thank you notes. So one thank you note a year to somebody, anybody. And so I was just going to say, you think about that 365 thank you notes, that would mean probably your doctor, I don't know, the person that delivers your mail. Who else could you think of? Other than, your friends and family, 365 notes, that's a lot. That's a real challenge.
Yeah, yeah. It is. Sherry's saying that's a great idea. It's so normal. It's
Right.
unusual.
It's so
exactly.
Unusual. It is. Yeah. It's not normal. Yeah, definitely unusual. So yeah, Sherry, I agree. When I saw this one, I thought, oh my gosh, could I actually do that? That means, for me, it would be not that I can't say that I don't have 365 people that I could find to be thankful for, but that's a challenge, just to take the time out of your day every day to sit down and write a thank you note. First of all, write a thank you note, not send an email, but actually write a thank you note and put it in the mail with a stamp on it. Yeah.
You know what I think you could do if you were going to meet that challenge is I think you'd have to carry a stack of some in your purse. Yeah. Maybe keep some in your car.
Right.
And
I agree.
Because I'm just thinking when you're in the store or you get really great customer service, right? Or you're having a blah day and somebody just goes out of their way to address you and say, how's your day going? And when you get that from somebody that is helping you in a store, when it's genuine and when they didn't have to go out of their way to really just take time to communicate with you and have an authentic conversation. Those are times you could run to your car and be I'm going to send them a thank you note. They were really nice. They did a really great job. Go back and give it to them. You know?
True. That is true. And I agree with you, Sherry. That is what makes it seem so special when you're taking time out of your day and actually to put a stamp on, I don't know. I think about today's times. We're all so busy. Very seldom do I really get a handwritten letter or a handwritten note. And I can remember growing up, my mother used to always say, write a thank you note. Do it right now. Let me see it when you're finished. So, that's what we did. We wrote the thank you notes and put them in the mail. And, so now today it's kind of it's a forgotten talent, I'll say. So, yeah.
That's true. I'm just going to recap, again, just some of the other ones that we just went over. Do you want me to recap them or?
No, do another one.
Okay. All right.
Let's recap in the end.
Okay. That sounds good. Sorry, I'm just getting. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Things you take for granted. Okay. So, this was actually a really good one. Imagine losing some of the things that you took for granted. Okay. Such as your home, your ability to hear or see or walk, or anything that currently gives you comfort, right? Maybe your car, maybe even like your wardrobe, then imagine losing all of those things. And then imagine getting each one of those things back one by one, and consider how grateful you would be for each and every one. Just imagine how grateful you would be for each and every one of those things once you get them back. That's kind of amazing, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was going to say the obvious, what you just said. We take so many things for granted. So many things for granted.
Yeah.
That a lot of times you don't recognize, or you wouldn't recognize those everyday things that we take for granted until they're gone. And that's when you wake up and you say, oh my goodness, where's my, or I don't have this or that. And they don't, really, they don't even have to be major things. I mean, I can't even imagine things like your home and, the necessities of life. But it could just be, I can't find that bracelet that I, want to wear. Not that that's an important thing, but, a lot of times you don't necessarily realize things until you don't have them, until they're not there.
Exactly.
But yeah, to lose something major, like your home, like your car, and food, things like that. I think about some of the families that we're helping, through these holiday times, who have lost some major, things in life. And that's serious. That's no joke. That's serious.
Totally.
So, yeah.
I want to make two notes. One, Sherry, I see you jumping in. And so I want to open back up. We're just kind of having like a casual conversation here, right? So I definitely want to open up the hot seat. I'm also getting text saying that on Aria's end, it looks like we're frozen sometimes when she keeps refreshing her page. So that may be the case for some other people. Not sure if the connection's not great or if we're having internet problems, but I'm going to open back up the hot seat for Sherry so that she can comment, and then we'll maybe give like another one. Hey.
Well, what you're saying really resonated with me for this reason, how small things can mean something. At one point, I developed this problem with my thumb. Okay. And I couldn't grip. And it seems like a simple thing, and I ended up having to go into therapy, and I had to relearn. We don't realize how important this guy is. Okay?
Wow. Yeah.
And when you talk about things that are simple but so important, the last thing I had to learn was to do this.
Wow.
And you don't realize how often when you get ready to grab the door,
that's right,
pick up a coin, it was amazing.
Wow.
And yes, and just the ability to do this opened up a whole realm of possibilities for me when I couldn't do it. And had taken it for granted for so long. And that's why I persisted in trying, because it was amazing to me once I really sat down. Because once the thing went wrong with my thumb, it's hard to type.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
It's hard to type. You grab your phone, thumb.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everything, right?
What about you? A pen or pencil?
Writing.
All of those things for something that was so simple that I did all the time and took for granted. And it took a while because I had this ball, and I had to learn how to grip. And like I said, that last thing, because I didn't realize just when I try to pick up a coin or pick up something, it is a major thing. So every now and then, and it's hard, because we get so involved in all the things that are going on that what I try to do every morning, and I have to say, sometimes I fall off the wagon, but there's a set of verses that I read, and I always try to go outside, even when it's cold. And moving from Colorado to Florida, cold is a relative thing.
True. Even when it's cool.
Right. Yeah.
After I've read those little verses, I just sort of look around and just sort of say, I'm really glad the sun's out today. I'm really glad my dog is with me. I'm really glad the thing I worked on yesterday worked out. And I haven't completely read it, but I saved an article that was in the New York Times yesterday. And it said, if being grateful, they've done studies where it changes your brain. Changes your brain. And actually in a positive way, because you become more positive, more hopeful, more happy. Mm-hmm. And Sonia, I wanted to say this and then I'll get back in the peanut gallery. But
you're fine.
When you were talking about sending out those notes every day, and it wasn't a matter of you not having 365 friends, because you can find anybody. You can bug you when you don't want to be bugged.
That's right. That's so true.
But it's the idea that you can get more friends, you can get more money, you can get more of almost everything. Mm-hmm. The main thing you cannot get back is time.
Mm-hmm.
That is
the mere
so true.
fact, yes, you cannot get back time. Mm-hmm. So the mere fact that you were willing to sacrifice, and that's what it was, you gave up some of your time to basically say to another person, I thought about you and I wanted to send you something positive, is huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
It's huge. It really is. So I wanted to encourage you on that, because, I was sitting over there in the peanut gallery, and when you said that, it was like the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That is a difficult thing to do. It really is. It really is.
Right.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but I really resonate with what you were saying with losing the mobility in your thumb. And as you said that, I thought, okay, my knees have been hurting for the past, Dejan, year or so, getting progressively worse and progressively worse. And you're right, you don't take note of those things that you do naturally every day until you begin to lose some of that, mobility. And so now every time I take a step to go upstairs or even downstairs now, I take note of that and I think, oh my goodness, what's going on? They're getting worse and worse and worse. But to be thankful for, those times when I didn't feel that pain and wouldn't have said thank you for, the ability to run up and down the steps, which I wouldn't dare do right now. But,
even with pain.
Right, exactly. You're right. You are
even
right.
With pain, that you're still able to do it.
That's right. That is so true.
And I think that gets lost sometimes, because when you think about it, all of our lives are speeded up. Yes. And there's a million different things that we have to do. So, and the thing I always say to myself, and every now and then again, I have to say it again to myself, that it's not the big things that trip you up. It's those little things.
It is. You're right. You're right.
I totally agree. Yes, it is.
The big things are, you get to a certain point and those big things are going to stop you.
Yeah.
But those little things, and here, let me put it in context, okay?
Yes.
Those little things. Water. And I'm going to Bruce Lee on you, okay? Water, it is a simple thing. It's harmless. It doesn't have a shape of its own, okay? But again, coming from Denver, When you go to the Rocky Mountains and you look at how big they are and realize that it was the steady drip, drip, drip of water that carved those little sections and those valleys, the steady, constant drip, drip, drip of something that is harmless.
That's right. That's harmless.
You know, so that's why I say it's the little things, you know, that we don't take into account. That every now and then, and yeah, I know sometimes it's hard because, you know, when you're going through the fire, or how you say, on the hot seat, it's hot.
Yeah,
that's right. Yes, it is. It is.
You know,
yes, exactly.
You know,
that is
but
so
every
true.
now and then, you know, every now and then you can say, yeah, it's hot, but
exactly.
Okay,
that's so true.
I always enjoy you guys. So when I saw you, I said, hey, let me stop in and say hello, okay?
I'm glad you did.
We're always glad that you jump in.
You. Yeah, exactly. We enjoy you as well.
Great perspective.
Take care. Thanks, Sherry.
That's awesome perspective. I'm just going to say hey to everybody else that jumped in the room. Dr. Torrance, Jacko, and Shamika. Not sure if she's still here. But Sherry, thank you. Those were great notes, right? And it's just being thankful. You know, we really have to be thankful for the small things. Because like she said, it's the small things that trip us up. And here's the thing. I think if we just get into practice, not only during Thanksgiving, you know, Thanksgiving brings it all to light, but if we get in the habit, like Sherry said, of every single morning or every single day, really listing what we're thankful for, you know, make that a part of your daily life. It's something that won't freak you out when those valley moments hit you. When you're in the valley, you're already going to be used to listing those points where you're grateful, right? Listing the good. So, all right, take it. Why don't you do our next one? Let's do our next gratitude exercise, okay? And then I'll give one more, and then maybe we'll open the hot seat up again.
Okay. Let me see. I'm going to read this one. Let's see which one. You know what? It's so good because we have so many. This is, and I know I talked earlier about writing 365 thank you notes to people. This is slightly different. This is just simply sit down and write a letter to someone, to anyone who has exerted a positive influence on you, on your life, and someone to whom you can say that you truthfully have not properly thanked them. You know, they've done something really good for you, influenced your life, been a really, really, you know, strong person for you, and you just really haven't felt deep down inside that you've given them a proper thank you. And I think we can all probably, you know, relate to that. It could be a teacher, it could be a mentor from the past, it could be a grandparent, it could be anybody who's helped you in any kind of way. The letter doesn't have to be long at all, but make sure that you're very specific in stating what that person did and how it affected you, okay? You can do one of two things. You can mail that letter, or to take it one step further and to make this even a bigger impact, instead of mailing that letter, take the letter to that person in the envelope, open the letter, and read it to them personally.
Oh my gosh, tears.
Could you do
tears
that?
Are gonna come
Could
down?
you do that?
Wow.
Could you do that? Because, you know, and again, I said this could be a thank you letter to someone from the past. I mean, it could definitely be someone current, but if you wrote this letter to someone in the past, which could mean that months have passed by or even years have passed by, that this person may not even realize. And a lot of times people will do things, and I know we all do. You do things for people, or you speak to someone. It doesn't even have to be anything major. You never know what effect you have on someone, because you never really know what someone is going through. You don't know how you affect people. And it could be just a, hey, how are you doing? How's your day going? Or, hey, can I help you carry this? Or it could be something just that simple, and you just never know. So to write a letter to someone to let them know what an impact they had on you. And it could just be, you know what, you really impacted my day or my minute, or it could be something major. You know, you really helped me out of a tough situation. You were there for me. You supported me. You helped me. It could be you took me into your home. You helped feed my family. You bought Christmas gifts for my kids. It could be a vast number of things. But to write that letter, and then if you choose, again, to take it that step further and to say, I'm going to go to this person and give them this letter. I'm going to go to that person and I'm going to open this letter and I'm going to read it to them personally. Yeah, you're right. Tears. But can you imagine the effect? Yeah, the effect that, or I'm going to say the blessing that would have not only on that person, but the blessing that it would bring you. It's major. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great one. I need to start writing. I have a lot of letters to write.
Sure, yes, I'm sure we all do.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to start that challenge one day. Sherry, are you ready? That's big. Wow.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good one.
Right. Hi, John. How are you? I see John has joined the room.
Yes.
Being with us.
John's with us, and T. Jacko, thank you for the compliment. He says you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
And he loves the reading the letter to them part. That's big, yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
Great. So, all right, here's another one, and this actually is really similar to what Sherry was saying earlier. Oh wow, Jay Munson Jr. first time.
That's great.
Okay.
You'll love it. You'll love Blab. Yeah.
Just to let you know, Jay Munson, in case you haven't watched any other scopes yet, what you do to kind of like show love on Blab is you just hit the person's box that's speaking or whoever's not speaking, and it sends all these little fluttering circles up, and it kind of says like, hey, they're right on point. What we're saying is resonating with you.
He's got it. He's doing it. That's great.
So thank you so much, and we appreciate you being here. And I'll just recap for everybody that's new. We actually are Team Transformation. My name is Dejan, and this is my mother over here in the box next to me. And my twin sister is usually on with us. She's having a little bit of connection problems. But together, we call ourselves Team Transformation. And we are women that are really on a mission. We're dedicated to seeing positive change and transformation. Our motto is always that you... Yeah, she looks like my sister, right?
Thanks.
Our motto is always that you can make a change at any stage, in any age in life. It's never too late. You know, it's all about just accessing the right people and the right tools that are going to help facilitate that change. And so that's what we do here on Blab. We do it on our blog at asideofchange.com. And you'll often find us on Periscope and other places. But that's our mission. And we just really help people take their passions to the next level. And work with entrepreneurs and help them, facilitate those changes that mean so much in our lives. So that's who we are. We do this show called Hack Your Hustle every Tuesday and Thursdays on Blab. So with that being said, I'll roll right into our next gratitude exercise. And this is something that I find myself doing a lot because my morning routine usually starts with my cup of coffee or hot water. And I go out and I sit on my sleeping porch and I have my devotions that I'm going to read for the day. So I usually have like 2 devotionals that I'm reading from. And I just start that as a way to start out my day and kind of like get my mind settled for what's going to come. And I love just holding my coffee and really just looking out, feeling the sun and being like, thank you. Just like Sherry said, thank you for the sun being out. That means so much. And thank you for all the things that are in your life. So here's something that you can do with your cup of coffee, just wherever you're able to pick that up, whether it's in the car, in the office, whatever, right? As you're having that first cup of coffee, sit back and think of all the things that you're thankful for, okay? And if it's even hard to come up with at first, these are a few things that can kind of help you out. You can think about the warmth of the coffee mug that you're holding. Just think about that. Think about the aroma of the coffee, right? Just to get you into that moment. Really think about that aroma and how good that is. Have that first sip and take the first sip and just really think about how delicious that tastes and, thankful for that moment. Think about the beautiful morning. You can also think about the beginning of a new day is full of promise. You have no idea what's going to happen by lunchtime, by the end of the day, by the end of the night. Anything can happen. I love that feeling. I think that's amazing. And then the quiet just before the day like officially gets started. If you're an early riser or if you get into the office maybe before everybody else gets there, just like the quiet of that time period is pretty powerful. So.
Okay, I have to ask this. Is anybody a coffee drinker? Because I am. I'm a true coffee drinker. I know you are, Dejan. I like tea as well, but I'm a big coffee drinker.
I have to go get my charger, so I'll be right back.
Okay, okay. All right, that's fine. But I'm a huge coffee drinker, and I drink it all day long. I don't know if that's good or if that's bad, but I drink it all day long. And I think I saw Good Morning America maybe a week and a half ago, and they were saying that 5 cups of coffee a day could be a good thing. You know, I took that with a smile and I said, that's good. No, I know what they said. They said 5 cups of coffee a day could cause you to live longer or something like that. So I said, okay, that's great. I'll drink 6 cups of coffee a day. So I really don't think 6 cups of coffee a day is good for you, but I took that. So, but, just kind of piggybacking on what Dejan was saying, there are most Saturday mornings, there's a room in the house that my husband and I will usually grab a cup of coffee and go sit in the room and read some devotions or, read the paper, read a book for at least a good hour. And I know when our kids were younger, we would do that in the morning before the kids would get up, because that was like our only hour of peace before the house started to, get crazy with kids' noises and all of that. But I think you're right, especially here in the winter, grabbing that warm cup of coffee and smelling it and just kind of taking that first sip in. So for me, I like that. That says a lot for me. So yeah, straight black. Oh my gosh. Wow. I've tried that. I have tried to drink my coffee black because I keep saying I really don't need the cream and the sugar, but that's great. Yeah, that takes strength to do that. It really does. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yes. I think we've got Ryan just joined us. Hi, Ryan. Good to have you here. We're here. We're just talking about gratitude, man. It's a couple of days before Thanksgiving. So we're just talking about different ways to kind of, take our mind into a mode of gratitude and to think about things that you wouldn't ordinarily think about. These are exercises that we're talking about, things that you can do to show gratitude. You saw something about prayer.
That was in the title, which I thought was such a great quote, right? The things you take for granted, someone else is praying for.
That's right.
And so when I found that, let's say T-Jack is saying, ladies, I have to run now, but I followed your Periscope.
Oh, great.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Great. Yes. Please tell your wife to join. Absolutely. Good meeting you.
So yeah, when I found that, I was like, I've heard that before, but I just thought it was so powerful for us to remember. And this is probably a good time for me to insert my twin sister is usually on here hosting the Blab session with us. She was going to remind everybody. She saw a PBS special, I think she said it was, last night. And it was about a man in India. And he actually had to, he was a beekeeper, basically. I guess he was harvesting bees. And in order to get this specific bee, he had to go through these mangroves, all right, these mangroves of India. And he had to follow a certain type of flower and then another kind of like a trace of something to get this one kind of bee. And so, if we're going through the mangroves of Florida or something like that, right, we're scared of maybe like alligators and different kind of bugs and whatever else may get us, right? Sharks, things like that. So what this man actually had to face were tigers, all right? Tigers were one of the things that he knew he could meet at any given time. And this was the one way that he could go and make a living for his family. And once he was able to actually get this honey, I guess, that he was harvesting, he'd come back and be so thankful and say, now I have enough money to support my family for the year. And it was only like $60 that he was actually, bringing home. And so he was even thankful for the opportunity to be able to have that job, and imagine, he's going in there working hard and none of us are out there facing literal tigers,
It's amazing.
That's just amazing. And so that's what I think what we really mean, right? The things we take for granted, someone else is actually praying for.
That's amazing. Wow. Where'd she see that?
It was a PBS special, she said. And she was gonna talk about it tonight on here, she told me. But she's not here right now. So so thank you guys for sharing so much. I love it.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't even see the comments on the side. I did a segment on my podcast and asked people about their best memory on Thanksgiving, and everyone said they enjoyed just being around other people. Yeah, Mom said you totally agree with that. Being around other people.
Yes. That's good. We have what we generally do is all of the kids in the family cook something, and everybody comes together at my mother's house, who's cooking something too. And so we end up with just a host of people and a table full of too much food, which, it's always fun. So it's always fun to get together with people, friends and family that we just don't get that opportunity to do that all the time. So I love it too. Right. Good conversation, fun times, a lot of laughter, a lot of eating, and then more conversation, more laughter, and more eating. And then we do it again and again.
Sure. And you know what, I think it's also just to know, because I know when we first started this, sometimes it can be hard to really think about, finding that thankful spot. That can be a difficult thing for a lot of people. So maybe this is something, just some of these exercises, if you guys are finding some that you like, maybe this is something that you can share with your networks, or maybe even pass on and do at your table at Thanksgiving, or maybe do with, people as they gather, people are coming into town or whatnot. Sometimes you're like, oh, what do we all do? Okay, we can sit around and watch TV, or I don't know, maybe start one of these exercises. It could just be another conversation starter, or, do it with a group of kids and whatnot that are around, just to start planting these seeds of thankfulness and routines and that kind of thing. So
yeah, definitely. I think it's a good thing. And I think, I think it's, of course, we think about Thanksgiving. We think about thanks and gratitude during Thanksgiving time and during the month of November, but it's gratitude. It's really something that we have to think about throughout the year. I'm grateful that we do have a month set aside to think about gratitude, but maybe we should think about gratitude a little bit more than we do throughout the year. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And that's not to say in any way that we aren't thankful for things throughout the year, but to really be able to sit down and dedicate some time to think about all of the things in your life that you're thankful for. I'm one to always say, because we do have our valleys and we do go through things because life happens. That's just the way it is. If you are breathing out here, if you're breathing and you are able to wake up and open your eyes in the morning, life happens. Everything is not on a high all the time. So we do go through times, we go through our valleys. And, if we can somehow find something in those valleys to be thankful for, which is not always an easy thing to do. I always like to tell myself, as I've been through things in life and as I continue to go through things, that there is always someone who seems to have it worse than you do at that time. So, think about that. And, really and truly, it doesn't matter what the situation is. Your car may not start one morning and you're late for a meeting, and someone else may not have a car and they're walking. Or you get up one day and, you know what, as I said, my knees have been hurting lately pretty bad, right? But there may be someone who can't walk today. They can't even get out of the bed. Or, your finances may be, you may be late with your mortgage or late with your rent, but who's getting put out that same day? So there's always something that is, there's always somebody that has it a little bit worse than you do. So be thankful. Be thankful in everything that you go through. Really and truly, it's the going through process that can be so difficult. It doesn't always have to be as difficult as we make it to be, but it is difficult to go through some of the valleys that we go through. But when you come out on that other side, when you're able to look back and I kind of learned this early in life, and I literally took it as, you're going to go through some things. And when you can literally like take your head literally and look back and say, that is now behind me, I've been through it. Usually there's a lesson in that. You will usually gain something from that. You're not just going through it just to go through a hard lesson in life. It is just that. It's a lesson if you can see that when you come out of it. So the next time, because like I said, life has its highs and its lows, as we all know, you're going to go through that and maybe even worse again. But the next time you can look back and say, well, I went through this, so I know I've got the strength, or I've got the knowledge, or I've got whatever it is, whatever it's going to take to either take me through this one or to help somebody else get through it. So there's always something positive that we can find if we think about it. You don't have to make that choice, because believe me, you can make the choice to do the opposite, and you can make the choice to make it even harder than it really is. You can make that choice, and it is just that. It's a choice. There's a lot of power in that choice. A lot of power in that choice. So go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that the main thing is, even with all of these exercises, the point of the exercises and the point of, listing what we're, are thankful for, it's really all about being present in the moment, right? Because if you're not even present in your moment, you can't reflect on what's happening,
No, that's true.
I think if you're present in the good times and present in the bad times, you're actually able to reflect and say, yes, these are the negatives. These things did happen, but this is what, I may have been blocked from, or this may, this is maybe the positive sides of the situation. So I think definitely being present, and that's something that you have to pray for. I think, I think you have to pray to be present in life. There's so many distractions that we have around us. I always love the quote Ray Higdon said, we live in a world full of mass distractions, so there's TV and there's the internet, and then there's our business and, our family and our kids and finances and games and all these things that distract us, and food, right? All these things. And we have to not get distracted by them, so that we can be present in our lives, present in our moments. So
That's right. It takes that concentration sometimes to do that. You know what I find for me, that oftentimes, or most times, it takes just being still. Still and being by myself. It really takes that to get your mind, to thinking about those things and other important things. But sometimes it does take that. It takes being still, because I know for me and my life, I tell people sometimes, what, I just go day to day to day. And I always seem to be going in that fast mode. It's, come on, let me get this done. Let me get that done. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to take, my kids here or there, or, life is fast these days. It really is. But those moments that I can take and just kind of sit back and say, all right, you got 10 minutes to do something positive that you know that you need to do. Just sit still, just be still. Yeah. And then, your mind kind of really takes you where it needs to be so that you can be present in the moment. Yeah, that's good. That is good.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we finish up? Mom, why don't you leave us with one more gratitude exercise? And then I'm going to leave you guys with something. Why don't you send us a tweet if you guys want more of these exercises? I will make sure that you get them. Tweet us out something that you're thankful for, okay? So just tweet us out something that you're thankful for, and use the hashtag. Oh gosh, what hashtag can we use? Oh my gosh, help me out, people. What? I'm trying to think of one that everybody else.
Leaving it to you.
I know. I'm trying to think of something everybody else is not going to use. It's not going to get lost in the flow. Try gratitude. How about that? Hashtag try gratitude. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hashtag try gratitude. tweet us out something that you're thankful for, just so we can keep this going. All right. We'll follow it all this week, and if you use the hashtag try gratitude, I will definitely make sure that you get, thank you for typing that. I was just about to put my fingers on the keyboard and you got to it faster. So Jay Munson Jr., I appreciate that. Helping me out. Thank you. So yeah, use that hashtag and we'll make sure that you get an extensive list of all of these exercises so that you can go ahead and implement those and maybe, again, spread them to your team, use them with your family, maybe your spouse, your kids, just as an exercise, before Thanksgiving and throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
I know, right? Sherry says, "You sure you're not a Blab pro?" He's already like commenting and typing. Exactly. Sneaking up on us, Sherry. So yeah, why don't we leave it with one more, and then let's close it down for the night, I think. What do you think?
Okay. I think that's good, except for I have two more. These are fast ones, and these are good ones. So yeah, I want to throw two more out.
Great.
This one is a gratitude trigger. Okay. This is an easy one. I'm gonna do this tonight. Okay. And it's this: place an object somewhere in your house or your workplace, which will remind you to feel grateful every time you look at it. It can be a little sign that says thank you hanging on the front of your desk, or a doormat with the word, welcome written on it. Anything that will remind you to be grateful every time you see it. So just place a little object somewhere.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that. And the next one is find a gratitude partner, okay? Find somebody. It could be a friend, it could be a spouse, a family member, anybody that you choose, and share what you're grateful for each other for. Does that make sense? Share
Yes.
what you're grateful for each other.
Share what you're grateful for.
Exactly. And in your conversation, you're basically going to, feed off of each other's ideas. And in addition, if the other person knows you well, you can they can remind you of things that you may be leaving out, like my husband would do. He'd say, no, but what about this or what about that? Or things that you may have forgotten. So that's kind of cool to have a gratitude person.
I like that, again, like an accountability partner, gratitude.
Yeah, kind of like that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And not only that, but it's kind of spreading that idea too.
Right.
Thinking about being grateful. And again, not that we're not grateful, but these exercises are about really thinking about it, really taking time to think about how grateful you are and the things that you are, the things and the people that you're grateful for. Yeah,
definitely.
So
those are good ones.
Quick, easy ones. Yeah, I like them.
Well, guys, we covered a lot. Yeah, we had some great ones. Hopefully, you guys will take these and maybe use them. And don't forget, let's keep the conversation going on Twitter. Let us know what you're thankful for this week. Okay, just tweet us out and say I'm thankful for whatever, and make sure you let us know if you want, the full list of all of these exercises. Use that hashtag. Try gratitude, and I'll paste it one more time. Use the hashtag try gratitude, and I'll make sure that you get this list so that you can take it and pass it on, spread it to another person. So,
exactly. Yes.
Thank you guys for being on.
Definitely. Thank everybody for being on, for sure. If we don't happen to see you before Thanksgiving, have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. And I don't know, Dejan, I can't remember if you noted in the beginning, we will be on Thanksgiving, but we're going to not do the 8 o'clock time. I think we're going to jump on sometime in the morning. We haven't quite determined what time, but we are actually going to have all three of us in the house together. So we won't have Aria out there with technical issues trying to get on. We'll all three be here in the house. So look for us Thursday morning at some time. We'll definitely get on Periscope and announce, our time and all of that. But if you just jump on Blab, you'll see us at some point in the morning on Thursday morning. So I think we are out for the night, but thank everyone for jumping in. Thank you so much for the comments on the side. We appreciate you. We are grateful for you all tonight. So
definitely. Have a blessed night, and we will see you on Thursday.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.